I'm dying. It's a fact. There's no need for a doctor to tell me. That farewell performance.
The world of music stood still on July 23, 2025, as news broke of the passing of Ozzy Osbourne, the man who defined heavy metal for generations. Known as the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy wasn't just the frontman of Black Sabbath. He was the movement. His death triggered a wave of mourning across continents, from fellow rock legends to fans who grew up with his voice blaring through speakers. What did Ozzy mean to you? As we revisit the moments and memories he left behind, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice is part of his legacy too. Ozzy's journey from Birmingham's gritty neighborhoods to the world's biggest stages was nothing short of legendary. With Black Sabbath, he helped shape a genre, one that embraced darkness, rebellion, and raw emotion. Together with Bill Ward, Geezer Butler, and Tony Iommi, he forged a sound that echoed across decades and inspired generations of musicians. His unmistakable howl, his theatrical stage presence, and his unfiltered personality made him one of rock's most unforgettable figures. Bill Ward, Black Sabbath's drummer and Ozzy's longtime bandmate, paid tribute in a post that cut deep with emotion. "Where can I find you now? In memories, in silent hugs, in calls that never came. No, you'll always be in my heart." These weren't just words. They were the echoes of a friendship that had withstood decades of fame, addiction, and redemption. Ward's message didn't highlight the band's glory days. It celebrated something more intimate, a human bond forged on and off stage. Ward continued by offering his condolences to Sharon Osbourne and the entire Osbourne family. His post ended with a line that felt like a collective cry from fans everywhere. "This is not goodbye. Thank you for everything. Forever." Through Ward's eyes, we see Ozzy not as a legend, but as a friend, a person who could make you laugh, cry, and feel less alone. Geezer Butler, bassist and Black Sabbath's chief lyricist, added his voice to the global tribute. "Farewell, my friend. Thank you for all the incredible years we had. 4 kids from Aston, who would have thought we'd make it this far?" It was a nod to their humble beginnings, when stardom seemed like a distant fantasy. Together, they turned that fantasy into history. Butler expressed gratitude for their final performance in Aston, the band's birthplace. "I'm grateful we got to perform together one last time." That night, now remembered as Ozzy's final stand with Sabbath, has become a sacred memory, a symbol of how far they'd come and how deeply they'd stayed connected. Tony Iommi, the man behind Sabbath's iconic riffs, poured his heart out in his own tribute. "Lesti can't believe it. My friend Ozzy has passed away just weeks after our last concert at Villa Park. This news is heartbreaking. There will never be another like him." Iommi's words highlighted the grief of losing more than a collaborator. He lost a brother. He added, "Geezer, Bill, and I have lost our brother. My prayers go to Sharon and the Osbourne family. Rest in peace, Oz." Their bond wasn't just musical. It was spiritual. It was survival. Together, they navigated fame, controversy, and a lifetime of unforgettable performances. Each song carried more weight than ever before. For the band and the fans, that show now feels like destiny, a final offering to the people who'd followed them since the beginning. Ozzy's energy that night wasn't just nostalgia, it was legacy in motion. Every lyric, every role, now play like a last farewell. Adding to the concert's emotional weight, Ozzy's solo set featured Crazy Train and Mama, I'm Coming Home. Seated on a gothic throne, he sang like a man aware that this was his last communion with his audience. Mama, I'm Coming Home in particular struck a chord. Fans wept openly, not knowing they were hearing his voice live for the last time. That throne, that voice, that stage, together they painted the perfect final portrait of a man who had lived, fallen, risen, and inspired. Ozzy wasn't just performing, he was closing a chapter with the dignity of a king and the rawness of a soul laid bare. To immortalize that moment, a concert film titled Back to the Beginning, Ozzy's Final Bow will be released in early 2026. The film is being produced with the full blessing of the Osbourne family and surviving Black Sabbath members. It promises to offer never-before-seen backstage moments and exclusive interviews. It's more than a documentary, it's a love letter to the fans and a time capsule for future generations. For those who missed the concert, the film is a second chance. For those who were there, it's a way to relive the magic. And for all, it's a chance to say goodbye. Tributes also poured in from outside the Sabbath circle. Elton John, Metallica, Tom Morello, and Jack White honored Ozzy with personal stories and praise. Social media turned into a shrine of memories. Photos, video clips, and fan art from across decades flooded the internet. The stories shared painted a vivid portrait of Ozzy not just as a performer, but as a person who inspired strength, freedom, and defiance. Many recalled how his music carried them through heartbreak, loss, or depression. "Ozzy saved me" was a common phrase among fan posts. The Osbourne family released an official statement shortly after. Ozzy gave his all to music, to his family, and to his fans. "We are devastated, but also so proud of everything he accomplished." Sharon Osbourne, his wife and a longtime manager, stood once again as the guardian of his legacy. Their love story, filled with hardship and triumph, has become one of rock's most enduring partnerships. As she grieves, she also leads the charge in preserving Ozzy's memory, not as an image, but as a man who gave everything to his art and his people. Now that the amplifiers are silent and the stage lights dimmed, the world is left with echoes. Echoes of a voice that once shook arenas, of lyrics that dared to be raw, and of a spirit that refused to be tamed. Ozzy Osbourne didn't leave quietly. He left with thunder. So what does Ozzy mean to you? As we continue to celebrate his life, his music, and his legacy, we invite you to share your favorite memory or song in the comments. Let's turn this space into a digital cathedral for a man who made the world scream, feel, and believe. Ozzy lives on, in riffs, in hearts, and in history.